This episode is sponsored by Boots, the beauty destination this Christmas.
Okay, so I don't mean to brag. I really don't, but I'm going to brag. I have been on top of my Christmas shopping this year, and Boots has been my go-to place.
I absolutely agree. And do you know what? Yeah, you can always trust Boots to have the best new exclusive trending beauty gifts. I mean, who doesn't love perfume or skincare?
Okay, so I am all over skincare and beauty products. I love it for me. I love it for my friends. And sometimes with all the love in the world, I kind of look at them and think, okay, what do I think you need? And then I get them that as a gift. I think it's always really nice to try something that you've actually never used before. Because often you buy the same beauty products all the time. So if I'm going to gift you, I'm going to give you something new and exciting, something you haven't tried yet.
Yeah, I love that for us.
And something that's like I've tried, but I don't think everybody else has, is I'm a cleansing balm babe. It's honestly the first thing I do when I start like taking off my makeup. And I have a new favourite, and I think it's only right that I gift the people I love it. And it's the LMS Pro Collagen Black Cherry Cleansing Balm. I love it. It's great. Would recommend. So it's a gift.
And what I want to gift to my younger cousin, because she's just about to start her skincare journey, is the Happy 4-step routine. So I think it's perfect for younger girls that are just about to enter the world of skincare. And I think she'd love it. And it's available on boots.com from the 14th of November. Do
you know what I like about it? I've seen it. It's the bright colours. I am a sucker for things that are bright colours, especially when I'm gifting things as well. And also what I absolutely love doing is that like giving little gifts in addition to the big gifts. So I'll like throw in like the Boots Glossy Balm Trio. Because it's like got 3 different colours. Who doesn't love lip gloss? I put lip gloss in my car, in my handbag, and in every room in my house somewhere. And I think everyone else should do that too.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you know what? You know how we always talk about like our everything shower? I think the Estridge Complete Shave Set is perfect. I just think like who doesn't want to luxuriate while shaving?
Not luxuriate.
Who doesn't want to luxuriate whilst they're having their everything shower? I think it's the perfect gift. And guys, don't forget to collect points on your Boots Advantage card.
Gift happily ever after with Boots. Shop in store, online or on the app.
Products in selected stores, subject to availability.
3 for 2 on gifts marked with the parcel symbol.
Every third product is free.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of the Receipts Podcast. Hope you're all feeling good, feeling funky and feeling fresh. I am very, very excited today. I am gassed. If you've seen the title, you've been here for a while, you've heard me speak, you've read the book, Keep the Receipts. You will know what the next guest means to me, my whole career. I say it all the time. I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't have done media. I wouldn't have even thought there was a world for me to be in the media television space if it wasn't for our guest today. So I'm very, very excited. I think after this interview, we can wrap up this whole show because I've done it.
It's done.
I have done it. It's such a full circle moment for me. Little me is screaming right now, but I'll talk more about that. I'm your girl, Tolly T.
Just call me Audrey.
And we have the amazing June Sarpong in the building.
An icon in the room. We have a legend.
We have an icon in the room.
I think this is like the best intro I've ever had.
June, I am obsessed with you. So I have to tell you guys the story of when I first met June Sarpong. It was at the BBC studios, Whitechapel. Yeah. And it was a television studios. And I was at the reception. I was getting interviewed for a gig. So I was not as in like for a job, not like they were interviewing me. I wasn't. I was getting interviewed for a job sort of thing. So I just sat there in reception. Like I got there like 10 minutes early, whatever. And then as I was just sat there, I see June Sarpong come out the reception and walk out of the building, and I was like, "Oh, sick, that's June." And then I was like, go say hello to her. I was like, no, that's weird. That sounds like make me taps, like let the woman. And then I don't know what it was. I just got up and chased after her. And I was like, June. So I'm so sorry because like, you look so startled. You were like, hi. And I was like, I'm so sorry, but I love you so much. You're like my biggest idol, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, spilt it all to you. And then went back to this interview. Didn't get the job, but it was fine.
At least you met June.
I met June that day.
Nice,
and you was lovely to me. And I really, really appreciate it. But like, I repeat what I said then, I'll say it again. You have been like so fundamental in my career. And and that wasn't because you were doing a for pseudo, I'm going to inspire the kids. That was just because you were being yourself. You were just on television. You had your lip gloss on. You were just there. You were funny. You were interactive. And you just meant everything to me. You were African. You're also from East London. Yeah. And it was just like, oh my God, wait, if June Sarpong can do it.
She can do it.
Yeah. Like, I can do it as well. And I just think that is the power in representation. I think above all, representation is not necessarily someone be like, hey, I'm here for the black kids. It's just someone living. Yeah. And I think you did a great thing of I just got to watch you be on television amongst all of these white faces and stand out and do it. And I'm forever grateful for you.
I am so grateful for this intro. Like I said, you guys have made not just my day, my week.
Aww.
So thank you.
No, truly, you mean the world to me.
And I just... bless you.
No, honestly, and thank you as well for being gracious with your time. Like when we wrote the book,
this is like my dream. I love this, and I love this whole set. I feel like I'm in your bedroom.
No, like literally. Thank you.
That's the vibes.
Because when we wrote the book, we were like, we went to do chapters where we spoke to women we loved and inspired, and obviously I could have spoke to my mum and
I love you, mum.
I love them dearly. They all knew that, but I was just like, if I'm in this space, I want to speak to June, and I was like, I think I DM'd you. I was like, this is really weird.
Yeah, great.
Do you mind? And like you were so gracious. Lockdown, we sat there on Zoom. You spoke to me for hours, and so much of what you said to me, things I didn't even make the book, like mean a lot to me. So thank you. And then she sent me flowers after.
Oh, no way. Well, adore. J'adore, as the kids would say.
So yeah, thank you. And I want to start off by talking about your career.
Okay. Please do.
How did you start in a time where you were the only one?
Yeah, quite literally. I started, I was very lucky. I got work experience at Kiss FM when I was 16. And, you know, to your point about seeing me and thinking therefore it's possible for you, Kiss made that possible for me because I was from East London, as you say. I didn't have any...
Can you tell me something?
No, actually, born in Forest Gate and raised in Leytonstone and Walthamstow. So I
you're a proper East girl.
I was born in Forest Gate Hospital. It doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, but I consider myself a Walthamstow girl because that's where most of my childhood was spent, E17. And so Kiss was just... I was so lucky to be there at a time when the radio station had just become legal. So they had been a pirate station for years. Then they became legal. And so all of my idols, like Lisa Anson, there was a woman called Wendy Douglas, they were working there. And being around them and seeing them, I was like, oh my goodness, this is possible for me. And then also seeing everybody else. So being there is what made me, one, be very clear about what I wanted to do, but two, actually believe it was possible. And it, for without question, changed the trajectory of my life. So yeah.
And how was that internship and being like to, I mean, I know a bit of the story, but like being like to your parents, hi mum, like I want it.
Well, that didn't go down well. So, well, it went down well for the beginning when it was just an internship.
Yes.
But when I decided that I wanted to go and work there and not go to university, and you guys get it, you know, African parents, you know what they like. And for them, they were like, you're bringing shame on the family. And I kind of stood my ground, and my dad actually was the only person who sort of agreed. And luckily, I decided not to go to university. So I'm not saying that for everybody. Anyone else?
Stay in school.
Stay in school, kids. But for me, I was like, I've been offered the thing that people go to university for.
Yeah.
So, so then I started working there at the age of 18. When I finished my A-levels.
Yeah.
But I'd been doing all my summers there from the work experience. That was it, really.
And then from there?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
No, sorry.
From then was...
And then I was at KISS. I did first of all, a show they had on there called The Word, which was great. So imagine getting to interview like all your sort of favorite pop stars and, you know, icons, etc. And then, but at the same time, I was doing a thing called the Record Review line, which basically, this is pre-internet. So what would happen was, if you heard a song on the radio, you would call this line up to say, oh, I heard a song on such and such a show. And most people never knew what the song was. So they would hum to me. And I'd be like, oh, yeah, that's blah, blah. And, or we had, like, we would, you know, this was analog.
It was a real life Shazam.
Yeah, I was a real life Shazam, literally. No, I really was. And so I was literally, and we had, like, analog where you would write down what was played. And so I was the one who would be chatting with the listeners. Instead of telling them what the bloody record was, I'd be gossiping, finding out about their lives, this one's boyfriend. And I was sat outside. So my first boss is a woman called Lorna Clark. Do you all know who she is? So she's the head of BBC Radio. Okay. So she's, you know, one of the most powerful women in British radio now. And I was very lucky. She hired me when I was very young. And she was a black woman. So again, having this black woman in this powerful position to sort of see that there were different paths within the industry that I could take as well. I mean, she was probably the only one at the time, and unfortunately probably still is. But at that time, it was just incredible. So I was sat outside her office, and imagine I'd be there gossiping. And she was amazing. She was like, as long as you get your work done, I don't mind. I'd be on the phone for hours.
I love people like that.
I'd phone my friends. It's ridiculous. And that's when people would talk on the phone.
Yeah.
And so she saw something in me. And then they were like, well, let's try her on. And back then, Kiss was so small, you could do that. They were like, let's try her on air. And so they put me on the Word. And then I was a radio presenter at the time called Fat Freddie M. I was on his show at the weekends. He was so lovely. He put me on. I'd be doing all the gossips, all the celebrity gossip. And then they gave me a show. And that was the beginning of all of that.
Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah, insane, yeah. There aren't many places like that now where it would happen in that same way. Yeah. But yeah, I was very lucky.
Yeah.
You were, I mean, I have to give you your flowers as well. Absolutely. Like such a staple of like my memory growing up watching TV. There was only a few women, let alone black women. So of course, like absolute staple in my household and being Ghanaian as well.
Yes.
But what I wanted to ask you was, did you have like so once you got your parents' approval, did you feel like it was like a duality of having to overly prove yourself for your parents and also in the job as well?
Yeah, 100%. Because for them, the whole point of coming to this country was for us to go to university and, you know, do the kind of the traditional route. And so when I hadn't done that, and also, you know, I know you both understand this. You know what a family meeting is.
Yeah.
I had
when they call a family meeting,
your heart just beats. When you're the subject of it as well. And then your siblings are like, Mum and Dad want to talk to you. Come downstairs. You're like, tell me. And they're like, no, you see.
What are you doing to your mother? And they flew in. I mean, I had aunts and uncles flying in. That's how serious this was. I mean, we're talking like 15 people. Ambassador uncles and this one. Oh, what do you mean, huh? And so I had all of that. So once you've had a family meeting, you know you better deliver.
You better work.
And I knew I only had a year to prove myself because my dad had said if I didn't get it done in a year, I'd have to go. So I knew I had to do it.
Yeah.
And did you have that with the job as well? Like, was there that notion of like, you have to work like twice as hard to be half as good?
You know what's so funny, actually? You know, like any immigrant parent, my parents always said that to me. And when I was at Kiss is, I would say in my, you know, whole career, it's probably the only place I've worked that I would say was truly egalitarian. You know, it was such a unique culture. And I think any company that can create a similar culture to the one that Kiss had back then, without question, will just fly, because the whole purpose of that station at the time was about unifying the young people of London through the power of music. So you had kids that were literally the sons and daughters of lords and ladies and landed gentry next to kids that were the sons and daughters of, you know, low-income workers from council estates. And it was truly equal. It was about your ability, but also because we were all so passionate about the music. And I think that when I was there, it was never a case of I had to work twice as hard. It was just a case of I had to be good. Because the standard there was so high, because everybody was so passionate about music. So it was like you had to be good. I would say it was when I left Kiss and went into quote unquote mainstream media is when I then realized, this is not a level playing field.
How were you taken in when you went into, because there's like being on radio and then there's been on television. And at that time, we all watched the same shows at the same time. There was no like, there was 5 options.
So you're watching that.
And Channel 4 was kind of the only one we were really watching, because that's what was cool at the time.
It was very cool at the time.
And how did the audience take you?
The audience were fine.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. The audience were absolutely fine. So I started on MTV.
Yeah.
So after Kiss, I went to work in so at Kiss, I was working at a record company at the same time. So how the sort of industry worked back then was most DJs also had record company jobs. So they'd be A&R executives or pluggers. And pluggers were the people who would sort of lobby the radio stations to get a record played. You had to do all of that back then. So I became a plugger at Arista Records.
You've done a lot.
Sony BMG. Yeah. So I was doing the two together, as well as having the show on Kiss. And then I got the MTV gig, and I have a funny story about the MTV gig. So this is really just advice to anyone that when you want to do something and you're in that headspace of doubt or second guessing, just do it anyway, because it literally changed my life. I almost didn't go to that interview. So I was working at the radio station, as I said, and at the time I was 19, I think. And we had just launched Usher's first album, So You Make Me Wanna.
Don't you worry, I know.
Yeah.
That was my sexual orientation. I was like, oh my God, boys.
Yeah, that's a good one to be orientated to win. And so I was part of the team that launched his career in the UK. So it was amazing.
Are you still friends?
If I see him,
okay.
yeah, I don't
you should be more grateful. I'm sorry, but you've done him a service.
I think he's done himself. So I was part of the team that helped launch him in the UK, and he was having what we call a showcase.
Okay,
I have another story.
Tell us all the stories.
You want to know all the tea?
Let me get comfortable.
Let me give you the tea. So he was having a showcase.
Yeah.
And I had to organise the showcase.
Right, okay,
so imagine I'm 19, I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, Usher Raymond, this guy who's already big in America, is going to be a star here. And I put everything into that showcase. And anyway, so I didn't get out of work until really late. So I didn't get home until about 11 that night. And my interview for MTV was, I think, 8 a.m. the next morning. Anyway, it was so lucky. I had a friend from America staying with me, and I woke up late. And I hadn't had the chance to rehearse the scripts or look at anything, nothing. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to mess this up. And Trevor Nelson, let me give him his dues. Trevor Nelson was the one that put me forward for the interview. I mean, I owe Trevor Nelson a lot. Yeah. He had said, there's this girl at Kiss FM. You know, she's never done TV before, but she's really talkative. I think she'd be good. You guys should take a look at her. I mean, it's kind of amazing.
Don't gatekeep people. You see how he didn't gatekeep? He sent the elevator back down.
He sent it, and he really did. And so
let's get Trevor on.
Yeah, exactly. Another icon.
You actually should. Yeah. Now he's got stories.
I bet.
My God, Trevor's got all the tea. So anyway, so I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I wasn't going to go. And my friend said to me, you are going to go. We might never get this opportunity again. Get dressed. We're getting on the tubes. We get to the tube, get to MTV. At the time they were in Camden and I was living in East London still. And I walked into the studio and I see everybody, like all the people that I work with at Kiss, but the big names.
Yeah.
You know, I better not name them, but big names.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm not going to get this, whatever. And because I genuinely didn't think I stood a chance, it meant I relaxed. I wasn't even nervous anymore. So whatever. So I looked through the scripts. I'm like, okay, all right. Don't know what I'm doing, but we'll go with it. So I go, and I remember saying a prayer to God. I was like, God, I'm sorry for being this disorganized, but if you let me remember these 2 paragraphs, I promise I'll never be this disorganized again. I didn't keep that promise,
of
but
course.
you know.
Yeah, we've all been there. God, I'll never do this again. If you survive this, I will never do this again.
So I walk into the interview, and somehow I remember these 2 paragraphs, so I'm able to do them. Then I had to talk about myself for a minute. And so, as someone who talks a lot, that wasn't too hard. And at the end of it, they were like, oh, you know what you're doing. I was thinking, if only you knew.
I had no idea.
So a couple of weeks later, I get a call back saying they really like you and they want you to come and film a pilot. So I go and film a pilot. And actually, I saw that pilot. Someone sent me that pilot recently.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God, I didn't even recognize myself. So I film this pilot. A couple of weeks later, I get a call to say I've got the job. And at the time, MTV, the boss of MTV was making it so that it would be a person from every region. So I was like the person representing London.
Okay,
you had Kat from Birmingham, Edith from Scotland, Donna Eyre from Newcastle. So we all started the same time on MTV. So got that. Now back to the Usher showcase. Usher showcase went great. He was amazing, as you expect. But he had invited 4 friends of his from America.
Okay.
Who were?
Friends? If you say Beyonce and Jay-Z.
Destiny's Child.
Oh my God.
Beyonce was going to be there somewhere.
They were 16.
Oh my God.
And I remember meeting them for the first time. And so I kind of was there with them. And, you know, they were telling me about themselves. And they were like, oh, Usher's great. He's amazing. And I was like, yeah, he is. And I was like, and what are you guys doing? They're like, oh, yeah, we have a song coming out soon. I was like, oh, cool. I was like, oh, great. Well, good luck with that.
I hope you make it.
Yeah, I hope you make it. But you could tell they were so poised even then. You know what I mean?
They're very media trained.
They were very media trained even then. So Usher performs great. These girls are in the back, you know, singing, dancing along. All good. So anyway, so I get the MTV gig.
That's
and
why Usher got that lap dance. They've
been friends. They've been friends forever. Yeah. So yeah, that's why he got that.
That's why he was like, thank you, lap dance.
And that's why Jay-Z allowed the lap dance.
Very, very true. That is actually amazing just to hear it and all of that. So the showcase goes well.
Yeah.
And then what's next?
Well.
You're in MTV album. For how many years?
I'm in MTV. I think I was at MTV maybe 4 or 5 years. I can't remember about that. And then Andy Peters.
Yes.
This is a man that does not get enough.
He doesn't get his flowers.
Do you know how many careers that man has launched?
He's been around since I was a kid.
Forget his on-screen. You guys know him for his on-screen.
Yeah.
Alive and kicking.
Behind the scenes.
Oh, really?
He created T4.
Did he?
Andy Peters created T4.
I lived on T4.
Yep. Andy Peters gave me my first terrestrial TV break. Vernon Kay, Dermot O'Leary, Ben Shepherd. Literally, there's all this talent who are there because of Andy Peters. Yeah, so he created T4. He was at the time head of youth for Channel 4. So things like Dawson's Creek, the OC, he brought all of those shows to the UK. Yeah, even Friends. So Andy Peters saw me and asked me to audition for a show called Planet Pop, which was the precursor to Pop World. That was on T4 at the time. So I then started presenting Planet Pop, and then from T4. And I have one funny Planet Pop story which I must tell you. Speaking of stories, so I get booked to go and film these 4 other amazing women. Was it 5 maybe? And no, I think it's 4. So anyway, so I fly to Cincinnati, and it's the Spice Girls. Yeah. And so we're in the bunker thing with them, the trailer, and they were performing whatever, and they were the sweetest. And at the time, because I was so young, they were just so nice to me, like lovely. Now, back then, I was very kind of cocky, so I'd always ask like the question that you shouldn't ask. Yeah. And both Victoria and Mel B,
I knew she'd be in the mix,
were in like high profile relationships. Obviously, Victoria and David, and Mel B was with Jimmy Golzar. Remember the dancer?
Yeah.
I don't think they were married yet. No, they weren't married yet. They weren't married, but I don't know why. I'm like, babies anytime soon, ladies? And so they were like, now, I didn't realize at the time.
One of them was pregnant.
Both of them were pregnant. 2 weeks later, it drops that they're pregnant. Our interview airs. I'm watching it back. As I said that, both of them moved cushions over their stomachs.
Interesting. They thought you got the scoop. They're like, do we have a little...
I do feel sorry for the fact that women have to hide that thing for such a long time for the sake of their career.
See, they both kind of just gradually put the pillow.
They probably thought this bitch.
Yeah. And I feel like back then...
Cocky bitch.
It was meant to be a secret.
And I feel like back then it was less like taboo to ask things like that. Like, do you know what I mean? So I was obsessed with like pop culture back then. I used to buy like the smash hits awards and all of that. And I read everything, and people would ask those questions in interviews. It just wasn't that deeply personal like how it is now.
There wasn't no boundaries, and there were some questions that you should not be asking.
But I was crossing them.
Yeah. Well, that's how we got the tea. Yeah.
And it probably felt safer coming from you because you're a woman as well. It's like invasive.
Totally. And they knew there was no edge. I was genuinely, it was a genuine question. Yeah.
Did they still chat to you? Or they like, nah?
No, they were great. But when I saw them after, they were like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. So yeah.
Just to really quickly like go back to like your music jobs and stuff like that when you were on the radio. How much of an influence did East London have on your music knowledge? Because I'm really obsessed with like the 90s and East London in particular. So I've got an aunt, you probably know her, she's worked in fashion for years.
Yeah.
And one of my earliest memories was me being a little girl and her getting ready to go to like Ace of Spades Club in like Forest Gate.
Yeah.
And just remembering like the fashion and the music and all of that.
Amazing.
Like, were you on the scene like that? Were you outside in East London?
Yeah. So from like 16, I was going to Shinola's and Twice as Nice and you know, all of those places.
I know Twice as Nice from the mixtapes.
Yeah.
I didn't realise it was a real place. I
it was
didn't
like, they were like club nights. Yeah.
It was amazing. Like, I feel so grateful to have been clubbing in that era.
When you clubbed.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? When clubbing was amazing and you'd go to house parties and people would put black bin liners on the windows like at 5 a.m. when the sun came out. Do you know what I mean?
I thought you'd stay there a bit longer.
Stay there a bit darker, a bit longer.
Oh yeah, no. I had my partying days. So yeah, I did all of that, and then we'd have things like back then. This is when sort of pre 1998. Even though there was a sizable African community, they weren't very vocal. So we were sort of very, we kept our culture within. So, I was in East London and we had a big African community, but it wasn't like we were very vocal. And I would say it was my generation that became much more vocal with it. So then there were things like the independence dances.
Yes, of course.
And so there would be like the Ghana independence dance and Nigerian independence dance. And this is where the young people would be in their sort of costumes, modified into a sort of a modern way and the look of the moment, not quite what your mum would be wearing, but you'd use the same fabric.
Yeah.
And we'd make our clothes and we'd go out to these parties and so on. So it was that era that I came through. And then obviously, being at Kiss, you had all the soul to soul, you had all of the New Jack Soul, and then the brand new heavies, Jamiroquai, before you then got to Blur and all of that. So it was really lucky that I was young enough, but I'm still old enough to have been part of that era. So
that music was lit.
Yeah. Speaking of partying, we have to talk about June Sarpong inviting us to the most legendary party we've ever been to. We were in Ghana and we'd seen June.
We were at DLT, honey.
Even before that, we'd seen June and June was like, there's a party happening at the president's house. You girls should come. We're like, we don't know. We've never met that man before. We did not know. And I think he was asking us, we're like, oh, are you coming to the president's party? We're like, June.
No, we're definitely not. We're here for DLT.
I don't know that man. We are just here. She was like, you must come. I was like, no, but June, we don't know him. And she was like, don't worry, just come. I'll sort it out.
Yeah.
Like, I sort out your names and list. I was like, okay, cool. So then that
You
day,
both looked very beautiful.
well, thank you very much. It was a DLT party that day. So we were like, okay, we want to go to DLT, but we can't not go to the president's house.
At his house.
Like, June is invited us.
Exactly. You don't turn down an invitation from June
So we
Sarpong.
went to DLT, got our table, and we were like, we gotta go. We're going to the president's house.
Yeah. Literally.
So then
What's
we left
DLT,
there.
by the way? I'm
It's
sorry.
a night out. It's a day out. It's called Days Like This.
Yeah.
And it's like a bunch and a
Oh,
party.
event,
Ghana.
Yeah. So in Ghana,
They do it here as well. It's quite global now.
Originated here. It was 3 British guys who went to go do a year in New York for a
How
thing.
wonderful.
And they saw like how bunches did really well in New York. So when they came back to London,
They
started
started.
doing bunches
And
and day
it's still
parties
going,
there.
is
I
it?
think it's still
it does, and
going.
it still does so well.
Yeah. So
yeah.
it was like their first time in Ghana. So we were like,
Yeah.
okay, cool, we want to be in a group, but also elevation.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? This is June.
Presents.
Hello.
We get there, so we get on an Uber. You know, sometimes in Africa, when you get at the Uber, the car they give you,
Yeah. Oh.
it's not what you should turn up to the president's house in. You know them cars that's kind of like, it looks like the cars that they said, this is not good enough for Europe, take it.
Yeah, it was like a tin wreck.
I'm so sure that's what they do. Just take it to Africa, it's fine. So we turn up to this car, and then you get to the edge, and then they kind of were like, get out of your
Yeah, you have to get out.
They was like, get out of your car. That's like bringing that to the president's
Yeah, exactly.
house.
This is a risk for the president's
What
house.
are you doing? And then we had to wait there. They get someone in a nice car to come and pick us
Yeah.
up.
Oh,
So I don't
wow.
know if we came in a nice car, if they didn't let us all the way in,
They
or
probably
if they were
would.
like, you're not going to embarrass
Yeah.
us.
Not in that tin hoopty. Yeah.
So we got some nice car to take us there, and we walk in, we're like, what are we doing? And it's like, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And the first person we saw was Tina Knowles. Like, Tina Knowles.
Yeah.
So we're just like at this party, just standing there. And I'm thinking, what if June forgot to put our name on the list? What if they're like, but everybody was so lovely. And as soon as we saw you, we're like, what up to you? We're with her. And then you start introducing us to all of these elite people. We're like, hi. So what do you do? Oh, it's a podcast.
It's a really good one.
We kind of just talk on the mic sort of thing.
They've got one of the biggest podcasts
And back then
in
they
the
weren't
UK.
really like
they're
popping like that. Yeah, like a lot of
the
people
Prime
didn't know
Minister,
what a podcast was.
and the President's daughter was like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, sure.
But thank you for that. You elevated us in a way.
It was a
fun
party.
party.
Yeah, it was a great party. Great canapes.
Food was fabulous.
Food was amazing. The venue was just, do you know them things that you're like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I wish
and
I
they
dressed
know
out
how
like
to
this.
throw a party, those two. Oh my God.
Literally, we're just looking around to be like, what am I
What we
doing?
doing
This
here?
is insane.
Yeah.
This is bad.
Iconic.
One thing I wanted to talk to you about, even like the transition you've made from being like hosting Usher Showcase to, I party with the presidents now. And I mean, that's
That sounds so
but that is your
random.
everyday life. It's just a casual, and you got to bring friends. Do you know what it is to like, to not only be invited, but to be liked on, to be like, I'm going to bring two of my friends that you don't know. That's different. That's different.
Well, I did tell them who you were, so they were happy to have
No,
you
because
there.
there's sometimes you're invited to a party, your friend is like, can I come? I'm like, babe, I'm barely
Yeah,
invited.
exactly. I'm hanging on by a thread myself.
I think it was a Beyonce thing. So I was like, girl.
Babe, when we just got in
I
here.
don't know how they invited me. I cannot bring you along to this thing. So like you've like transitioned your career, and it's been amazing to see, because I think many black people, many black women in this space, they have the moment and they go away. Like you don't see them get to get older in this, you don't see them get to transition with their careers. When did you know that like, okay, this part is done?
Yeah.
And what did you know what to do next? Because that's my biggest fear. Like, what next?
Wonderful question.
Thank you. Oh my God.
Yeah, because it's important, especially when you've started young. You know, and when I was doing T4, I was literally being paid to be young, and there comes a point where you're not.
You're not anymore.
Right?
Yeah.
And so when I got to 30, I think I was 30 when I left, or 31 or something like that, and I could just sense it. You know, we were still doing really well. It was wonderful, but I could sense. I think one of the things I would say I've always been good at in life is knowing when that time is coming and to leave before the time comes. I've never been scared of change. So I could sense, like, yeah. And I'd also seen that there were so many quote unquote youth TV presenters that had not made the transition. And I think that one of the luckiest things for me, it's only as you get older that you're able to see, the thing that you thought, perhaps was a bit harder for you, in the end, full circle actually turns out to be of benefit. So, you were saying earlier, what was it like being the only one? Yeah. There were tough times that came with being the only one, because there were certain things that were not available to me being the only one. Back then, the pinnacle of success in television was a shiny floor show. So the kinds of shows that Ant and Dec do, sort of big Saturday night shows. And I remember being in meetings with commissioners, kind of saying that they didn't think the nation would accept a black person hosting one of those shows, which obviously isn't true. So I knew that there was a limit. And it meant that I had to pivot. So it meant that I had to sort of learn to do other things and also go into other sectors so that I wasn't only relying upon my industry, because I knew that there was a ceiling with my industry. And actually that really helped me with when it came to that transition. When it came to quote unquote 30, I knew this style of television was probably over for me. But actually, there were lots of other things that I could do. So I ended up setting up a women's conference in America, actually, and moved to the States. And the conference, we were way ahead of our time, and we ended up doing really well. And I think being in the States and seeing that I could go there, not really knowing many people, and start again, and it be all right. Meant that I was like, if I ever need to start again anywhere, I'm going to be fine. And I think that really helped. But the fact that I'd had to do all those other things before is also what put me in a good position to be able to pivot to something else. Yeah.
You know when you're in these meetings and they're telling you like a black woman won't sell or black face won't sell, but you know, because I saw a clip of you on a podcast talking about how you'd been excluded from a magazine cover.
Yes.
And so the audience at MTV were like, but where's June? Why is she not included in this? So how do you deal with that when you know that the audience they love you, they accept you, but a random person, not a random person, but you know, these commissioners or whoever the powers that be are
with
telling you with their own biases and their own limitations, when you know that the proof is actually in the pudding, because ultimately the audience is what matters.
Yeah, which is why, honestly, you girls or women, sorry. You women
we'll take girls.
We like girls too, we'll take it. Are so fortunate to have come up at a time that you've come up where you could actually create your own platform and prove yourself and find your own audience and own your own audience. Because I think that the thing that's wonderful about now is you can do it yourself. You don't need a gatekeeper like you did in my day. And I think in terms of what it was like then, that same thing comes up in different ways. So it might not be, a commissioner saying an audience isn't going to accept you when you know they will, because you know what happens when you walk down the street and how people talk to you, etc. Or when you present an audience, you know. But it might be you're in a business meeting pitching an idea for funding, investment, whatever it is, and the person in front of you doesn't get it. But you know that there's a need and there's a market. Like anything, you find a way. And I think the thing that I'm so glad that I learned early on, and I think having been at KISS, like I said, which was truly a truly inclusive work environment, meant that I didn't take things personally. I never thought I was the problem. I never internalized that stuff. I saw it for what it was. Yeah. And it meant, but I also wasn't deluded. I wasn't deluded to think, I'm going to fight against this and push it. No. I was like, well, where is it that does get me? And let me go there. Because you know what? My friend Jerry DeVoe, who's wonderful, wonderful man, he and I have been friends for forever. He says something, go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. And I learned that early on, that I was not going to stay in places that just were tolerating me.
Do you think there is a value to try and fight for it? Because I think there are many black creatives now that are like, okay, we can create our own thing, but why are we not in certain spaces? Why can't we get to, or do you just be like, just it is what it is? And
well, no, but the reason why I say is you find a way somewhere else is those same people come back. That might not be the intro in. Yeah. It might be you do it here and those same people who are looking at you saying no, because you've succeeded here, come back. So what I'm saying is you have to make the sort of calculation of is this worth the toll it's going to take on me trying to convince someone that doesn't get it?
Yeah.
When I can go somewhere that does, and I can probably do really well there, and those same people are going to be the ones knocking. Yeah. And then you charge them more.
The thing is, it's like the work you have done and many women like you before us have done has been like, it's not denied. We can't deny it. Like not only would I not exist in the terms of like, I wouldn't want to do this if I didn't see you, but like, I don't even think there would be space to do this because you haven't been on television already. But I think there is a thing of that there is still so much to do. And it gets to a point, it's like, when is it that like, oh, buddy, there's no point doing this work anymore. Just figure out, go elsewhere.
No, but there's always a point in doing the work because there's the audience. You have the audience who want it. But I suppose that the thing is, what are the other things that you can do with this work and how can you really maximize what this platform can give you in the non-traditional sense? So, i.e. the obvious things that come from a successful podcast is one thing, but there might be something else that you already have, a database and an audience. What is the other thing that you could do
with that?
You see what I mean? This is what I think sometimes the traditional path not being available to you does. It means you have to innovate. You have to think outside the box, which sometimes works out even better.
Yeah. What is your view on quitting?
I don't have a problem with quitting. I think you've got to make sure you're quitting for the right reasons. Are you quitting because, you've given up, and you intuitively. This is the thing as women, we don't encourage women to connect with our intuition enough. We intuitively know, that's why usually the woman is the sort of the moral compass of the family. There's something we just have inside. We intuitively know when something is right and it isn't. And unfortunately, we've been conditioned to ignore that inner voice.
Because they told us that we're mad. They told us women's intuition is not true. But I was like, no,
it's true.
Intuition is true. You can't tell me that.
It's always true.
Yeah.
And when does it go wrong? When you don't listen to it. Right? So that intuition will be telling you, oh no, keep going. And then there's the other thing where it's your ego saying, I'm going to prove to them.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not worth it.
Yeah, I think that, there's so many things, even when I think about like women's health and stuff, and this whole idea that like a lot of our health things are seen as hysteria. And like, we're not hysterical. Like these are things
your
that people
body's talking to
exactly.
you. Yeah.
Like, someone's like, my period's not about. They're like, no, you're just being dramatic.
Yeah.
It's just being. And I think hysteria is just seen as a woman's problem. I think it means woman something in Greek.
Does it really?
I think it means
Crazy.
something in Greek. I can't remember for sure. But there is so much of our issues that we talk about that's either seen as insanity or hysteria, so we're not taken seriously. And I think our intuition is a part of that. I was just things women say, but like, no, genuinely feeling like you feel like there's just something I feel.
Something's off.
Does it? Hysteria means uterus. I knew it was something in Greek.
No.
Yeah. Hysteria means
uterus?
Yeah. Yes, I'm glad I got that right.
We need to redefine the definition.
Yeah. So it's just kind of made women seem like, whatever, you're just being.
There's a term that they use in America called WW.
What's that?
And like basically it stands for whining woman. And so like there was this woman that had gone to hospital and she'd been complaining about something for ages. Eventually she went to A&E and then the doctor was like, we've just got a WW. And then there was another member of staff that was on shift that day and they were like, what the hell is a WW? And she later found out that it meant whining woman and it was a code that male medics were using to describe women. And I was like, that is really disgusting.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
It's actually
so if you ever hear that, FYI.
Oh, I'll show you.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean? I'll show you whining.
I will show you.
I'll show you a wacky woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
we're going to
crazy.
give that W something.
I always live by that. I mean, have you heard that thing? Apparently, if you're unwell when you go to A&E and hospital really calmly and be like, I think I'm about to die, they take you very seriously.
Oh.
Because apparently when you genuinely think you're going to die, you're not.
You're not.
Yeah, like you don't have the energy to This is the last breath I've got in me. I think I'm about to go. And you're not wailing. As long as you're wailing and screaming, you still got some energy. You're still alive somehow. But if you're very calm and very like, buddy, I think I'm out of here.
I'm going to remember that.
It's always stuck with me. I don't actually know if it's true, but it's always stuck with me. And then they'll be like, hey, cool, come, we're taking you very seriously and we're going to deal with this rather than it being like,
this one's on a way.
Yeah. But if you're energized, it's like, she's still got all the time with the world.
That's so good.
Is there anywhere in your career that you haven't done that you're like, you're still going to do that thing?
Oh yeah, I think definitely the next thing would be setting up a proper business. So next year I'm launching a food company. So I think that would be the next
thing. Yeah. And then you'd feel like, I've done. Do you ever get? I've done it. I've made it. I did it.
No way. There's always more to do. I hope I never retire.
Because that's all it's been like. I don't know if it's a worry of mine. This thing of like, am I ever going to feel fulfilled to be like, you smacked, like you've done it?
No, fulfilled is different. I think you're fulfilled, but you know that you still have more to give. Also, I think it keeps you young. I mean, I hope I'm working until I'm 90.
You're definitely
really. I like to wrap that show at 6.
I might not be doing it every day. But like my friend, he works with his dad, and his dad's still coming in the office, twice a week or so. It's kept
I think it does keep you young though. Having something to do, having somewhere to go. Oh my God. Can we talk about Your Face or Mine?
Oh my God. That was my favourite show.
Wasn't that the
That show is so iconic. I don't think it could run now though.
No way.
But so basically
in the PC era.
In this era, that show is actually very mad. But for those that don't know, Your Face or Mine used to be the show. Was it on Channel 4 back in the day?
Channel 4.
June and Jimmy Carr hosted it. And basically people would just come out and you just have to rate each other's looks.
No, you're not even going to Your Face or Mine was one of my favourite shows ever. And I didn't realize how bad it was until I introduced it to an American recently. I was like watching it, I was like, that's insane. Because there's still clips of it on YouTube.
Yeah.
So basically Your Face and Mine would happen when there was like a couple would come on together. So let's say me and Audrey are a couple. And initially it starts with that like, they'll put a random person to be like, who do I think is prettier? my partner or
but you have to
this
be
person.
honest because
Yeah,
there's
you have to
money
be
up
honest,
for
'cause there's
grabs.
money up for grabs, yeah.
And you have to agree. The audience has to agree with you.
Yeah.
So you can't just be like,
Yeah, yeah,
my partner, because you love them. If the audience is like nobody, that.
Yeah.
So first it starts with a random person. Then it starts with someone in the studio.
Yeah, in the audience, yeah.
And then from there it goes to they bring out your best friend.
Or sometimes they'll bring out your ex.
Yes, or your partner's
Always
ex.
the ex, yeah. And then you have to do between the partners.
And the last bit was
No,
between
but
the
the
partners.
worst bit was when you brought out people's mums.
Yeah.
They would bring out people's mums at the end and ask them
That
to
show
choose
was
between
so out
people's
of
mums.
But it was
such
they tried to bring it back.
Yeah, they
with
did with
Ryan.
Catherine Ryan. Yeah, it didn't slap. It didn't slap
Jimmy
as
Carr.
much.
It was Jimmy Carr again.
Yeah, it didn't slap
yeah.
as much.
Jimmy created the show.
Did he?
That's got Jimmy written all over it though.
Oh, how did you get onto it?
So I was again talking about mentors and sort of sponsors. There was an amazing executive who's actually now one of the bosses of ITV called Julian Bellamy. And Julian was the ultimate male ally. And he really sort of took a shine to me in terms of my career. And obviously, like I said, back then there were obstacles and he was like, no. So he would say to production companies, you have to work with her. And so a lot of the shows that then, became really successful outside of T4, so Playing It Straight, Your Face or Mine, 5 Go Dating, there's loads of those shows that I did.
TV shows.
That was all Julian.
I love you, Julian.
Who put me forward. And so that's how I got on that show.
So every time you speak about your career, there's like a name in it to be like, thanks to this person, thanks to this person. And I think sometimes people now forget the importance of relationships.
Oh, it's everything.
Like people, they'll meet someone here and completely forget about them or whatever.
Everything.
And I remember something, I can't remember who said, I think it was Irene actually. She said something about networking. She's amazing, isn't she? She said something about networking next to you, not just above you.
Yeah.
Because I think everyone thinks like, no, you have to go to someone who's, sometimes it's like it's your peers.
It's your peers. And I'm so glad she made that distinction because, people always talking about, mentor. To me, I think you want 3 types of people. You want your peer group who are on that journey and understand what it feels like to be you.
Yeah.
And you can sort of celebrate each other's wins and be there for each other as you're all on that journey. And it's really important, particularly when you're looking at a group of women, is to take the element of competition out of it and know that sometimes it's your friend's moment, next time it's yours, but having those people at the same level who understand is key. Then your mentor should be someone who's 2 or 3 positions above you.
Okay.
So that it wasn't that long ago when they were where you are.
Yeah.
And they can give you those 2 steps you need to move up. And then you want your sponsors. So, when you go to, certain people, their lives are so busy, they're not going to be the one on the phone when you're moaning about something going wrong. But they're the one when they are in a room that you can't yet access are saying, have you seen such and such? And they're the ones putting you forward. And it's so important to have those 3 groups. And your sponsor, you might only see them once a year, once every 2 years. But they're thinking of you when they are in an environment that could be beneficial to you.
Okay.
And it's important to have those 3
So how do you find the sponsors?
Where they at?
Where they at? No.
Where they at though? The sponsors, but it's what you were saying about, not just networking above, you networking together as well, because the networking above is really, it's not that hard because I think most people want to be able to help someone if they can. And actually, if you go somewhere and you see someone that you admire, it is that, hello, love what you do. Can we stay in touch? The thing I find with your generation, and maybe your generation, or maybe even the generation after, which I find so strange, is they all want to have lunch. People are busy.
Yeah.
And
they get really offended when someone says, like, oh, fuck her, she wasn't nice to me.
Like, don't waste your time with lunch. Get
to the point. Huh?
Get to the point of this is where I want to be. If you ever hear of anything, can you think of me?
Okay.
And then just stay in touch. Once a year, drop them an email. Twice a year, drop them an email. That's how you keep in touch with a sponsor. And there will come a time where that pays off. But trying to hang with them, like how you hang with your friends, no one's got time for that.
No, that makes perfect, because I think it was Bozoma that said something about like black women are over-mentored but underfunded. Like it's like sometimes it's money that we need. It's not actually helping. We just need money actually.
You just need money. Or someone who knows where you can go
to get the money. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what it is. Look, there's many ideas, there's many things, but it's just the who's funding this.
And
how am I meeting
sometimes you
people?
need someone, not just the money, who can, I was watching Emma Greed's podcast with, they've just hired her as the head of beauty.
Yes.
What's her name?
Daviara.
Yeah,
Daviara. I think I'm pronouncing it wrong, but yeah.
And she was talking about what went wrong with her business originally. And it was a really good episode on failure and being honest about failure. And what she was talking about was with that business, they had the money, but they didn't have someone who'd done it before. So there were lots of mistakes that were made, costly mistakes, that actually if you'd had somebody who's done 1 million beauty businesses, it's like, no, don't do it like that, do it like this. And I think it's not just the money, it's also ensuring that whatever it is that you're doing, you know someone who's done it before, who you can pick up a phone to say, and that's what men have. And women need to be much better at that. When I think of my male founder friends, they all have a network of founders who have exited that they can pick up a phone to and say, what do you think? And I think that's where then the sponsor comes.
I think that is actually very, very true. It's knowing other people who have done this before and who can
guide you.
Who you can talk to as well. But I think there's still bare like a crabs in a barrel mentality of the kind of
we
like
don't need to.
No. I think it's so far removed from that now that we don't. And then like people say the time there's the men's club and I think there's a boys club and I think girls, we should get the girls club as well. Like there is something in the power in having a little girls club that we
always, I think of some of my friends, some of my best opportunities have come because a friend has put me forward and vice versa. I'm always happy to introduce people and not want anything out of it because everything comes back full circle. So it might not be that person that helps you, but someone else, you know what I mean, will help you. So you have to have that giving spirit in that regard.
Do you think that mindset comes with hindsight? Or do you still like that in real time?
I think I've always been like that, but also because I've had a lot of people help me. And I know anything I'm doing would not be possible if it wasn't for those people.
And do you think a lot of that is off the how you treat people as well? Like
that helps.
How does that come into play in terms of success?
I think being nice is, I've been seen as this movement of like women not wanting to be nice. There's a difference between being a pushover and being nice. You can be kind.
I always say that.
You can be kind, but people still know you're not going to take any rubbish. And I think there is something to be said for that. We'd like a bit more goodness in this world.
There's something you said to me, absolutely, when I was interviewing you for the book and it's really stuck with me and I've always wanted to speak to you more about it. It is you can absolutely say no if you don't want to talk about it. We were talking about just when you decided to what you wanted to do and your parents not agreeing with you and we're talking about African parents and things like that. And it's something you said, you was like, I've always known, I know my parents love me, but I feel it when I'm good.
Ooh, yeah.
And it stuck with me because I was like, oh my God.
That's profound.
Yeah, because I was like, I get that completely. Like, I know my mum loves me, but I feel it more when I've passed an exam, when I've done this thing, when I've done this thing.
You know what it is?
Yeah.
And in a way, we kind of have to give them grace in that. I think about it. Recently I was thinking about what it must have taken.
I know.
I think about that all the time.
Yes.
Plus, you moved down the road. You moved down the road, you're traumatized.
No, literally.
Think about moving house.
Literally, that's how I feel now.
Another English speaking country.
Exactly. I'm scared to move out of the borough of Lambeth.
Like you weirdo.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So think about, when I think about my parents' journey coming from Ghana, we had a very lovely life in Ghana. And then we, had to flee with nothing. And to end up, but luckily we were all born here, so we weren't refugees. So that was one thing. We were so lucky that we were all born here, so we were British. But to come back with absolutely nothing, and with young children, and to have to figure it out. And thank God for the community. That's when you see the power of community. And so I think that thinking comes from they didn't have the luxury.
They didn't have the
of
time
not
to be.
being
Yeah.
Not time, luxury. They did not have the luxury of not being able to prove themselves. And they know what the opposite of failure is.
Yeah.
They know what those stakes are.
Yeah.
So it means that the way they show love is you succeed and I'll give you a pat on the head because it's life or death if you don't.
Yeah.
And it's actually the next generation's children who have the luxury of not having to prove yourself and being loved just for existing. They have none.
Exactly. No, yeah. Speaking of failure, what would you say, if you've had one, your biggest failure has been thus far?
Oh, what a
have you learned?
beautiful question. I don't know. I don't look at life in terms of failure per se. I think I'm quite philosophical in that I think your life moves to its own beat and there are decisions that you make that perhaps you could have made better. And it's being honest enough with yourself to know that that's one of them.
Yeah.
So you don't do it again. But there's not failure because you've learned from that. You know what I mean? And you become somebody else as a result of that experience. So I've never been somebody who looks at life as in those terms. And I've never been somebody who particularly looks back either, or looks back with regret.
Okay.
I'm always kind of like, okay, what else? You know what I mean? I'm just that. I've just always been that kind of person. And I do think it's also because, I've had, when I was 14, I was hit by a car and it took 4 years out of my life.
Oh, wow.
So a year of being in hospital and then 3 years of rehabilitation.
Oh, wow.
And I think when you go through something like that at such a young age, you just understand the fragility of life, but also how things can change in the click of a finger. So it just means that I've always been very okay, whatever, next.
Figure it out.
Figure it out.
Sorry, you know how you came up in the 90s? How did you evade? Because you were like a household name. You were on terrestrial TV. Everybody knew you.
Yeah.
You were very famous.
Yeah.
How did you evade all the messiness of the 90s and getting involved in scandals and all of that?
And that's because of this. So imagine, like I said, I was hit by a car at 14 in a bed. So not only did I not walk, I was in a hospital bed with screws in my head. It was insane. And then another 3 years of physiotherapy, blah, 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 blah. So I had a neck brace for 3 years. So when Trevor Nelson met me, I had a big neck brace on. It was so sweet. So by the time I got into the industry, I knew myself so well. So that's how I could be in rooms where all kinds of things were going on and never participate. But I never judged anyone else. I was like, great, good for you. Just not for me. And as a result, I don't drink, never did.
Oh, wow.
And never did drugs or any of those things just because I just looked at life differently. And I think that had that experience not happened, I'd have been a very different person. I'd have been up in all of
Because
it.
coming up in the 90s, anything was happening.
Yeah.
As in people were drinking.
Yeah.
It was...
And we were drinking like it was water.
Yeah, and the drug girls women, people, it was a known thing. It was just kind of
normal,
here they are.
Yeah.
And you hear about people saying that how sometimes in order to not fit in, but I guess fit in for lack of a better phrase, you had to participate in certain things. So I feel like you have to really know yourself to be no, I'm not gonna do
but
that.
also I think you have to not be judgmental. I genuinely wasn't. I didn't
judge on
think
the
worse
inside.
of anyone else.
Yeah.
Good for you. If that makes you happy, go for it.
Yeah.
Just it wasn't for me. And I think because I wasn't judgmental and because I was able to say no enough times, eventually other people would be stepping in and say, oh no, June doesn't do that.
Yeah.
So other people who were getting very messy would be like, don't, no, she doesn't do that.
Leave her alone.
But the party's fun though.
Oh yeah.
I bet.
They would make the Ibiza parties. I mean, literally, we would be out. I remember when I was much younger, when I was at Kiss and in the early days, I'd be out on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, still get up in time for work. Now, past 10 o'clock, I'm exhausted. Like when people say you want to meet for dinner at 9, why?
Yeah,
why?
Like,
no, I don't.
You're not available.
Yeah.
I can still do it if I can get a nap in before.
Yeah.
As long as it's just dinner and we're not doing anything after, I'm good. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Right, so we've got some dilemmas.
Please.
And it's only right that you're in the room and we do it with you.
I love
because
it.
I even forgot
some people are
about the
better than
dilemmas.
us, guys, and it's only right that we use you. Okay,
Yeah.
so the first dilemma it starts with, firstly, thank you for your podcast, your commitment and content over the years. May God continue to bless you and strengthen you in all the ways of your life. May the podcast continue to flourish in riches, laughter and love.
Here.
Amen.
Yes.
Okay, so she says, I'm approaching 30 and I want to level up my fashion. I want to look more grown up, polished and stylish across everyday life, evenings out and weekend events without breaking the bank. I sometimes feel like I can do better, look a bit sexy from time to time or just elevate a simple fit. When did you figure out your particular style and any particular inspirations? Any advice, tips or recommendations for brands, stores, collections or just looking and feeling grown up will be appreciated. From Money Gang Sister.
Oh.
When did you get your style? Because you're very blouse.
Very clean girl, I'd say.
Blouse.
Not every day.
They're saying messy
I
girl
like
is
at home,
coming
I'm
back.
tracksuits.
Okay.
Oh, I love a tracksuit. Any opportunity to wear a tracksuit.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely not every day. I don't know. I think it's evolved over the years. I mean, I look at some of those outfits. I'm like, good God. But to your person, I think one, she should experiment with what works for her, not necessarily what's in fashion. I think now when we look at pre-loved clothes, you don't need to break the bank. You can borrow, hire, you know, because actually we know in our industry, when we go to events, we borrow our clothes. Now what's great is the public get to do that with all of these, you know, borrowing services. So I would say she should borrow to begin with. And then, try lots of different styles and see what works.
That's what I'm kind of into. I don't know if I've got a particular personal style, but I think there are things that you'd see, you'd be like, Talani would wear that.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I don't think it fits into one category, but I feel like you'd be like, oh yeah, I know that I would wear that and I would like that. So I think it's a thing of like playing about and maybe seeing someone, for example, I love the way Tracy Ellis Ross dresses. I cannot afford.
You can borrow.
But I can borrow it or I can... Whatever Zara or ASOS copy is done, I will buy that. But it's the things, and hers is also, I think she's very much, there's not a particular style, but she has
like her use of
fun.
colour.
Yeah. She has a lot of fun with her clothes, and that's a big
Yeah.
thing for me as well. I realised that my style got better when I stopped trying to be sexy. That's when my
You're
style got much
naturally
better.
sexy,
Thank you very much.
Both
But I
are.
think there was a thing of trying to be overt
They're
and
like,
mini
I
and all of
know.
that. But once I realised that, like, oh no, let me play with volume, let me play with colours. Like I stopped trying to do bodycon all the time because it's too sexy. But I played with volume. I play with volume a lot. I play with a lot of colour, and I stopped trying to look sexy and stopped trying to look skinny.
Oh.
When I was always trying to look skinny, like my style just wasn't good because I was like, I need to dress a certain way to look smaller, to look petite.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
I know.
Because culturally, we're not
like that.
Yeah.
It was that weird teenage age of like growing up in a time where people are like, oh, look how slim her legs are. And there's a gap between her legs.
What was it called?
Heroin chic.
Yes, that was it, yeah.
And I've never in my life, not from when I was born, had a gap between my legs. Those thighs have always been there.
And that's what they love on the continent.
They're great. But once I
that.
stopped trying to be sexy or skinny, my style just got so much better because I just played a lot. And it's clothes. It's never that serious.
Never that serious.
Like if the outfit didn't bang today, we'll go again tomorrow.
There you
Like
go.
it's never that serious.
There's always
It's literally
another
clothes.
day.
Play with it. I'm very bored on I don't like the whole neutrals and someone looks the same all the time. I'm like, have fun. Add a bit of colour to your look. Like, just experiment is what I'll say.
I really wish that for the young girls. Like, I just feel like at the moment, everyone's being so serious. And I know that we did business casual in the clubs, but it was a different kind of business casual. Like now, like just everything just feels so serious.
Is that how young people dress?
Yeah, like they're like
they're
going like to the club in like clean girl aesthetic and like blazers and there's no and it's just all very, if they're even going to the club, they're
very
going to Pilates
conservative.
and drinking matcha and blah blah blah, and I feel
Which
like
is good, I
but I
guess.
saw like something about how like apparently the clean girl aesthetic is like going and now the messy girl aesthetic
what
is
is a
coming
clean
in
girl
just
aesthetic?
very
It's
demure, just very like
What's the thing they say? Demure.
exactly. It's very
Hair
demure.
pulled back,
Hair
clean
minimal
face,
makeup,
minimal
like
So
very neutral.
They've moved away from the
neutral
Kardashian
colours.
look.
Yeah, because that's given that was given circa sort of like 2000 late 2010s. But I wish they would have more fun. But I feel like it's okay to like look for inspiration.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I like to look nice, but I'm not a fashion girly. But I see people that I feel inspired by and I just copy. I don't give a damn, but I do it in my own way. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like I don't have one set style. Like I switch it up. Like literally yesterday I was wearing a tracksuit. Today I'm dressed a little bit more like whatever. I felt like wearing boots.
Why are you wearing hoops today? You going out?
No, I just felt like it. I literally just felt like it. I was like, do you know what? I'm not saving my pointy boots for an occasion because I don't know when the occasion will come. Today is the day, and I just put on my boots. Also, low key, because you're coming.
Yeah,
I low key. I think.
I think. Podcast 3 months. Today I was like,
I think psychologically. I also think psychologically, I knew June was coming, and I wanted to step it up a little bit. So that also definitely came into play.
Thank you. I approve this message.
Thank you. But yeah, just have fun. Like, look at people that you think have actually, before I say all of that, dress for your body first and foremost. I feel like dress for your shape, like, because I think that is what sometimes when people are trying to fit into trends that might not necessarily suit them, you feel uncomfortable, and that's when your sexiness is stripped away. So I feel like if you're comfortable, then you're just going to exude sexiness anyway. Sexiness doesn't have to be like miniskirt and afro hairdos.
I think I'm always a bit about dress for the body. And I think mainly it's because I worked for women's magazines and I've always known the connotations of that. So connotations when I worked for women's magazines was very much like, if you've got a bit of belly, wear a baggy top. Like it was like, that's what dress for your shape used to mean. Do you know what I mean? Do you know they have them things where they'll be like triangle shape, oval shape, and they always used to put the bigger woman in some drowsy, cover it all up. And that's not necessarily true. But I think the point of that, like, because it's trendy doesn't mean you have to wear it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not your thing.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying like when you're not dressed comfortably because you're so hell bent on fitting a trend, you're not going to feel happy because it doesn't suit you.
And you're
do you know
not
what I mean?
confident
And I also think we have to be honest, not everything suits everybody. Do you know what I mean? So just know what suits you. Like I don't have hips, I don't have a bum, but I feel like I dress in a way that accentuates my good bits. Do you know what I mean? I used to have a really good pair of boobs, so I used to accentuate them. Like if I go out, I wear short dresses because I've got nice legs. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just accentuating the parts about me that I like. I know what doesn't suit me. I know I've got no business wearing certain things. And because I avoid those things, I feel more confident and I feel more comfortable. Do you know what I mean? If you want to wear something that doesn't typically suit you, but you feel comfortable, do it. Do you know what I mean? But just be comfortable, because I think comfort comes first.
Not something suits?
I feel like you know. I feel like you know internally. I think you know. And if you don't, experiment, and experimentation is the only way you'll know for sure.
There is something in spending a bit more money on casuals. I will say that.
I love casuals.
Yeah, like as in like you guys know I'm going about a good white shirt. Spending a bit of money, going to Cos instead of H&M to get a good white shirt. Just that bit of a difference. It's just a staple. Or like a good blazer.
Yeah.
Like just like a good, like just
a
some
good
staples.
blazer works for everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe not clubbing like these youngsters do.
But
everything else it works.
Exactly.
And even like I spend quite a bit of money on basics, like a simple, because I just think it just elevates your look. You can repeat it over and over again. And a good pair of jeans. Always have one good pair of jeans. You can bang it out as many times as you want. Because you know what outfit would never be defeated? A good white shirt, a good pair of jeans, nice shoes, and red nails. You will never beat it.
Never beat it. She says.
It will always be your look.
Yeah.
Right, next dilemma.
Okay. Next dilemma. Okay. Hey girls,
hello.
I've really recently started listening to your podcast, and let's just say I'm obsessed.
I love
You're
it.
talking about things I've never really sat or spoken to my friends about, and it's honestly shifted some of my own perspectives, but now I need your help.
Okay.
5 years ago, I moved to Thailand with my ex-girlfriend to teach. She left after a year. To this day, I don't know why she left.
Is this a man or woman?
I think, yeah. And since then, I've lived about 20 different lives. I've made incredible friends, lost others, traveled to places I never dreamed of, had crazy and new experiences, been in a motorbike accident, turned 30, learned so much about life, myself and friendships, and grown so much as a person. I've had a life many would envy, and people back home tell me how amazing my life is every day. But after 5 years, I feel stuck. All of my family are in the UK, and as everyone gets older, I'm starting to really feel the distance. There have been accidents, losses, and I've just been too far away. At the same time, I'm also at the stage in life where I want to meet someone, settle down, get married and have a family. Becoming a mum is something I need. I was made to be a mum, but in Thailand, that feels almost impossible. Everyone here is either a nomad on holiday or just passing through, and dating as a Western woman in Thailand, brutal. Ooh. I'm now thinking of moving closer to home, and Europe seems like a good place.
Okay.
My current job is stable, well paid, the kids are gorgeous, my team is lovely, and my social life is unmatched. I've got money to travel every half-term holiday, to eat out, to enjoy weekends. I have a great life here, but I'm not challenged anymore. I'm coasting. And now that I'm 30, I'm really thinking about the next stage of life. I'm scared I've outgrown this chapter.
Okay.
The idea of applying for jobs, moving to a new country, changing everything, it's overwhelming. But something inside me keeps whispering, it's time. I've made pros and cons lists. I've journaled. I've spoken to ChatGPT so much I now pay for a subscription, laugh out loud, and I still change my mind constantly. To make it worse or better, I need to decide by December. That's when contracts renew and decisions get locked in. So I'm on a bit of a timer here. So I'm asking you, does a girl who just turned 30 stay where life is comfortable, easy, fun, and financially secure, or does she leap into the unknown, move to a new city, start fresh, chase the possibility of romance, babies, and a family, even if it might be harder or less social on the weekend? I don't know what to do. Help.
Leap.
I think she's answered her own question.
Yeah, it's time to go. Like from what you were saying earlier, in terms like you get that intuition, okay, cool, this is good and this is well and good, but there's something else that I want that this is not giving me, and go to that other thing. I know it's hard, especially when you're comfortable. It's like, this is comfortable, this is fine, I'm having a good time, it's not the worst thing of my life, other people have it worse, but you're not satisfied, and that's because your body, your mind, everything is telling you, I want something else.
Yeah.
You've done it now. On to the next thing.
Also, she's done it before.
Yeah.
She's saying it's nerve-wracking to... Well, she moved to Thailand, didn't she?
Yeah.
And also, she could be fired from this job.
That part. Jump before you're pushed.
Yeah. So, I think go home.
Yeah, I think it's time to go. And I think it's okay. And then if that doesn't... people say it all the time, it's a cliche. You can start again and again and again. And then we go again.
And
as many
she's a
times as you want.
teacher. There's always a job
they're
for
always
her.
going to be needed.
Exactly.
Facts.
And also, if you come back, you're like, well, no, I didn't want this. Go back. Thailand's always going to be there. That option is always going to be there. But I think there is something
Sounds like
listening
her ex-girlfriend had the right
She
idea.
She got it.
Do you know what? That's so true. Your ex-girlfriend
didn't think about it.
I'm gone.
Yeah.
And she left.
She left like a thief in the night, honey.
You just take her energy and leave too. Leap, man. Leap. It's fine. Like, you will land. You will always land. You might land rocky. You might land and twitch your ankle a little bit, but you will always land. Jump.
I agree.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I will take it.
What you both said.
I agree. I totally agree. I feel like, at the end of the day, it could be not as great, but it also could be the most amazing thing you ever do.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes when you're intentional with things, you make it a thing to be good.
Yeah.
Because you know that you've left so much behind, you've taken so much risk, I have to make it good. And I feel like sometimes that's not things just panning out. It's because low-key, you've put the energy into making it great.
Yeah.
So I think she should leap as well.
Definitely leap.
And there's a reason she's feeling that way.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Listen to your gut.
Next and last, because I know we got a time limit. Okay. Hi, Audrey and Tolly. I just wanted to say I really enjoyed your recent episode of Nadia J. Thank you so much for the podcast. I love listening to you both every week. It's really gotten me through. So let me get straight into it. I need to be around more Black people and want and need Black friends. Wow. For context, I'm 22, living in East London, and you can't find Black people.
Exactly. Where they at? Has it been gentrified that much since we all left?
Living in East London, I am a West African babe. Growing up, I was always surrounded by Black people, whether that would be through church, parties, friends, everything. But that changed after sixth form. I didn't go to uni as I didn't want to go down the uni route. I stopped going to church, and most of my friends I've made since are from work, of course, and not many of them are Black. Lately, I've been feeling like I cannot fully relate to anybody, and then it hit me. It's because I don't have any Black friendship groups and barely any close Black friends, and I must admit it's starting to take a toll on me. The friends I have now aren't even white. I guess you'd say non-white, the best way to describe it. I feel like I have one friend from everywhere in the world, yet I can't count on my fingers how many close Black friends I have. I'm pursuing my career goals and courses. I have sometimes found myself being the only Black girl in rooms amongst white people, or one of a few Black girls and boys. Them experiences left me feeling like an imposter. To be completely honest, till this day, sometimes I'm the only Black girl in the room or one of a few. I'm so grateful for all of the friends I have now, but a lot of things that have happened to me lately have left me thinking, damn, I really need more people I can properly relate to. And it's really upsetting having this realization because I don't even know how it happened. I love going out. I can be a bit shy at first, worst, but I'm that girl who goes crazy when Afrobeats comes on in the club and finds all the other black people to vibe with, because the friend, we don't know our music like that. But sometimes I feel like I can't be my full self around my friends. It's tiring. I've seen loads of events I want to go to where I know I will find my people, but I'm too scared to go alone. My only close black friend is in uni, so I don't always want to ask her. I don't really know who to speak to about this. My non-white friends wouldn't understand, so I'm here asking you guys for advice. How can I go about finding more black friends? Any advice would be appreciated. I'm reaching out because I kind of feel isolated myself from my friends I have now, and I just feel like I can't relate to them anymore. Thank you very much. Thoughts?
Well, I'm confused because, as you said, she's in East London, not Scandinavia.
Just go outside.
I thought she was going to be in a small town somewhere. Can't
Yeah, even that.
Hang around Pax and Upton Park, you see them in about 2
Yeah, exactly.
They're everywhere.
Takeaway shop.
They'll be around. I
mean,
think you just need to, I don't know if there was a reason why you left church, but that's all. If you still have faith and you still, that's always a place that you can go back to. If the faith is still there, you still want to be in church. I think your fear, your want for it has to overcome your fear for doing it. You're saying that you really want this thing, but you're scared to go to this event. So if you want it enough, you just have to put yourself out there. I do think that it becomes a time in a lot of black women's lives where you're like, I need people like me.
Yeah, but that's if you're somewhere where there aren't any.
If there aren't any, exactly.
So I suppose the question I would be curious to ask or get the answer to is, how is it possible that she lives where she lives
and she hasn't
up until now?
Yeah.
So maybe was she actively not wanting black friends? There's that too.
Yeah. That's the point.
So I just find that a bit strange.
Yeah.
Like if you live somewhere where you genuinely are the forefront, but she lives in the most diverse part of the country.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you said before that you had these friends. What happened to them?
Yes.
Yeah, is it a case of going back to these friends that you did have before, trying to, I don't know if there was an issue trying to reconcile it, or like June said,
just
maybe there was a point, something happened that you thought, oh, whatever, man, and then that's so true.
Go to the salon.
Stay in the salon for me.
Just hang around.
In fact, no, in all seriousness, she's got this posh job from the sounds of it. I would say she needs to volunteer at a salon on a Saturday.
Just for shit.
She will make friends, take out a few weaves, do a couple of braids.
People always spill their own business. People spill their tea at salons as well. Yeah.
They don't do relaxers so much anymore.
No, not anymore.
Yeah.
A couple of
Moved past
weaves,
it.
some braids. She's set.
In no time. And you'd be surprised how many people want friends as well. I think there is this
Very
narrative
much
that
so.
loads of people are like, no, I got my people now, I don't want to hang on.
No.
People are lonely.
People are lonely.
People are craving friendship.
want
People are craving
their
community.
people.
They want their people. So listening to this podcast, I will go on about and say probably about 70% of the people here are black.
Sign up to Patreon, girl.
Sign up to Patreon, as in use the hashtag. There is ways to find other people. We know people who have made friends.
Do you guys do events?
Yeah, we do live shows.
Well, there's your answer. She
Come to
needs
the
to
live
come to the
shows.
next live show. In fact, can I set a challenge for
Yes,
you all?
yes.
Please do.
Next live, she needs to sign up for the next live show, and you guys need to bring her on stage and say she's looking for friends.
Do you know what? Honestly, I think there is something in having a section to be like, hey, there are a bunch of people who are looking for friends here.
Yeah.
Meet each other, see if you get on. Let's go from there.
Dating, we met on Tinder or whatever. We met via the receipts.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with that.
It's happened many times. That's something that we used to advocate for. People always say they want to come to the show, they're coming alone, and we always tell people to link up, and friendships have been formed. But I think you just have to be more intentional.
And a lot of the events do this actually. If you want to go to an event alone, they'll be like, you can buddy up, someone else is going alone, meet up with them, and then form a friendship and things like that. But because you are in East London and you are really, if you was I'm in Yorkshire, Shermere, somewhere, and there ain't a black people, Oxfordshire, you've been there, Ju. You've been to Oxfordshire, we know there's a train from King's Cross that goes to Oxfordshire, So if you were there, then I'd be fine. But girl, you are in the crunks of the blacks. The blacks are there,
they
they're
are accessible
active.
to you, girl.
Just say hi to a girl somewhere. You want to go to an event, just go look at the hashtag and see who's gone there before.
I still think she needs to learn how to do hair. That would be the best.
Hair is a great unifier for black women. It's a great
the
unifier for black
ultimate
women. Yeah. Listen, there's something about going to the salon that just makes you tell your business. I don't know what it is, or people tell their business. Whenever I go to the salon, I talk. And
all
I'm I forget.
My hairdresser is my therapist.
But I realise I don't know what it is about me that people tell me all their business.
Yeah. You're a friendly person.
Yeah, and I think I just get really curious.
Yeah, you ask
and then thinking that I don't know anything about that girl. But I've told you everything about me. Yeah. That's what I like to do. But June, thank you.
Honestly, this has just been everything.
Everything I
so
wanted
much
to be.
fun.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. We love you. And we are not the only black women in this space that speak so highly of you. We are so grateful, and also very grateful that you passed the baton down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
thank
you. And congratulations. And looking forward to your 10th anniversary next year.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, June. We love you.
Thank you guys for listening. I've been your girl, Tolly T.
Just call me Audrey.
And
I'm June.
Yay!
Oh, iconic.